Hey everybody, I'm Josh.
And I'm Rachel.
We consider there to be 3 bucket list restaurants on the Las Vegas Strip. 2 years ago we did Joel Rebelshon. Tonight we're doing by José Andrés.
Let's go.
It has been about 2.5 hours since you last saw us. Okay.
I do believe I'm like 10 pounds heavier.
Yes. You know, and a lot of times I understand people will be freaked out by the tweezers, by the small bites. There's 21 courses we just had.
Yeah.
And it was pretty awesome. Let's talk about it. To get your reservation, the reservations open up 3 months ahead of time. They only have 8 seats, one at 5:30, one at 8:30. You get a golden ticket to admit to it, which feels fancy. I don't know why.
It does feel fancy.
It just feels very cool. So all you gotta do, walk up to Jaleo. The hostess will walk you over to a table where you will be joined by the rest of the people that are gonna be dining with you. Sommelier will come over and talk to you about whether you wanna do wine pairing. They also do hit you up in the email a couple days prior to see if you want to do wine pairing. We did not do the wine pairing. We are not experts at it. We do not pretend to be experts at it. So we just went for a nice white cava, which is a Spanish sparkling wine.
This one was made specifically for José Andrés, and it worked well the entire meal.
Yeah.
So for 2 of us, a bottle was 115.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Which, if you want to do the Spanish wine pairing, it's $150 per person. So we figured for $115, that's worth it for us.
Yeah.
So when everybody in the party shows up, the chef comes and gets you and walks you in. You go past the bar and then into this side room, which has just the seats, and you can see that there's a preparation stage almost.
Yeah.
Where there ends up being, I believe, 6 chefs, but there's one main lead. And that's the person that we ended up talking to a lot.
He was wonderful.
Let's walk you through the menu. Good thing,
Yeah.
they give you a copy.
Yeah, because it was going so fast. I couldn't get all the names.
Yeah, we did our best. We got a lot of footage. We got a lot of pictures. We're going to try to walk you through it. A lot of this, though, you're going to have to experience for yourself.
Hands down.
Yeah. All right. First up, branch of the desert and almendra. So it looks like a twig. A twig just coming out of a pot. And then a almond on a bed of almonds. The twig, what do we say about that one? So
it was like a black olive rice cracker.
Yeah.
And you were supposed to eat it as a breadstick. So you take it out of the pot that it's in and you eat it.
Yeah. The twig eats like a stick.
It does.
And then the almond, it had like a harder outer shell with a super creamy inside. It was so smooth.
The creamiest paste inside. With
like the strongest almond flavor, like stronger than an almond type flavor of almond. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
The next dish was Morning Dew, which is a white cava sangria sphere.
That thing was bananas.
Rachel almost choked.
I did almost choke. So it's this sphere on a wooden spoon that you are to take in one bite. And you don't bite it, but then once you get it in your mouth, you put some pressure on your tongue and the roof of your mouth, and then it pops.
It bursts.
And it bursts.
You have to have your mouth closed. Yeah.
It caught me off guard, and I swear I was going to choke, but it was delicious.
It was awesome. Yeah. But it was like just I don't know, like a jelly ball of wine. That blew up in your mouth. It was so cool.
It was cool.
The next dish was stone. I missed some of this, but what I do know is it was like some of the most creamy manchego cheese you could ever have.
Yes.
And then I think that there's like some pork fat around it, which that sounds gross, but it wasn't.
No, it ate so smooth. Like, it was really creamy and really smooth. What the bananas part to me is that it looked like River Rock stones.
Sounds like somebody's coming in our room.
Yeah.
I swear they're not.
It looked like river rock stones, and so they tell you which ones to eat.
Yeah, eat the white and black one. Don't eat the other
Right.
rocks.
It's just one of those like mind-boggling pieces for sure.
Yeah, and I wrote down that it melted in your mouth immediately the moment you put it in, which cheese, you know, doesn't always do that. So you weren't prepared for it. It is 90-day aged. Okay, let's go next up. Spanish pizza. So Spanish pizza had tomato, basil, white truffles on a cheese crisp. I did not catch what kind of cheese it is, but it ate almost like a Parmesan Asiago, like very strong flavor.
Yeah.
There's two different ways of eating the cheese. So the crisp is the cheese, as well as the like white dollops.
It reminded me of the tomato bread that you actually get in Spain.
Is it pan con tomate?
Sounds appropriate.
Like with crystal bread.
It sounds
I believe.
so famous.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was delicious. I loved the crisp. I couldn't believe how strong that cheese flavor was.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, the cheese I think definitely was the big star of that.
Yeah.
All right, next up.
This might be the oddest presentation.
So stupid awesome. I freaking, okay,
so good.
I wrote down that this is the first true blow my mind moment of the meal.
Yeah.
The sandwich.
It's called Wonder Bread.
Wonder Bread. And it looks like a baby Wonder Bread sandwich.
Yeah.
And it's got foie gras. It's got green apple. No.
Well,
Foie
we'll get to
gras,
the green apple.
white truffle, pink apple.
Yeah. And they do change this up because they do whatever
Yeah.
is the fresh fruit court.
Yeah,
Like-
we did ask if the menu changes, and they said it does change seasonally.
Yeah.
So what we're telling you about may not be what you would get.
Yeah.
But it should be
going to
a similar line.
Mhm.
So what was crazy, so the bread, it feels like styrofoam.
Yeah. You think you should
And I'm
not
like,
be
this
eating
is going to be stupid. But it absolutely melted. The moment it touched my mouth,
Yeah, it was
like
insane.
gone.
This is where the green apple comes in because
Yes.
it's a dehydrated green apple meringue, bleh.
Yes.
And then they
Blowtorch
it to give it the appearance of a piece of bread.
Yeah, like the crust on the outside is a blowtorch on this meringue. I could eat that all day, every day, 8 times an hour. It was, it's amazing how you can have such strong flavors and you actually notice each flavor. I think that's one of the big keys to doing a restaurant like this.
Yeah.
They know a way to make the flavors work together, but also stand out.
Yeah. And that was one dish that absolutely stood out.
Freaking loved it. All right, oyster cracker.
Wait, what's it called in real life?
Oyster cracker is called tortellita. And now this was one of those moments where the interesting part was we actually saw how delicate these dishes are, but then one of the cooks or chefs accidentally tipped it over on its side, and they just tossed that one.
Yeah, they didn't like the
Came back
presentation.
out and redid all of the preparation.
Yeah.
Like if it's not presented perfectly, they are getting rid of it.
Yeah, they start over.
Crazy. Anyway, there is a rice cracker, creme fraiche caviar.
Yes, oyster cracker.
Oyster cracker, there it is.
With creme fraiche and
I just wrote starts with a strong sense of a rice cracker, and then all of a sudden that caviar finishes.
Yeah, and it was salty and briny and absolutely delicious. It just worked together. It is one very delicate bite.
It is.
A lot of these dishes were one bite.
It is. Which,
At least the first half.
yeah, when you're seeing things, I can totally understand where people are like, I don't want these stupid little one bite things. Like, I want a big plate of food.
Yeah.
Don't worry, you're gonna get full.
Yes.
Like I was at it.
Still.
I think I even wrote down when I started to get full, so I'll probably tell you. But we had many courses to go still.
Yep.
All right, next one up is, here's a pan con tomate. So this was done, it was weird. It was like a air bread, which almost like a cracker. It felt like a football or like a basketball or something, where it's just a cracker with nothing on the inside. Then they put a little bit of tomato spuma and then cured pork on top of it. I thought it ate, I didn't notice the tomato as much. For me, I
got a
noticed
little
like
burst of
cracker
tomato the first
and
time
the
you
pork.
bought it. I noticed tomato the first time I bit into it.
Okay, which is where it was at. It was like squeezed inside of the air bread.
Yeah.
I thought it was good. It wasn't my standout dish, though.
But it was.
I mean, it was
tasty.
neat.
It worked in there.
This next one, Jose Taco, which we had for the very first time at Bazaar Mar.
Yes.
That one comes with seaweed wrapper. This one's just straight Iberico pork, caviar, and gold flake.
And it's delicious.
It is freaking delicious. Like it's like the most tender cut of Iberico pork you could ever have, and then just super strong caviar flavor.
It was,
Next one. This is a weird one. Mussels, citrus, olives, and vermouth is what we wrote down.
Yeah.
So this is the El Vermute. Sorry about pronunciations, by the way. I'm trying here.
My comment in the moment was, who knew these flavors actually went together?
Yeah, it was
It
nuts.
was crazy. The mussels and the citrus and then these olives. So I bit into an olive by itself and it exploded like the little sangria ball did. It just offered this unique texture and flavor combination that I have not tasted anywhere else.
Yeah, it's like a liquid olive, but not liquid.
I know.
Gelatinous liquid, instant liquid.
It's so weird.
Yeah, I don't know. And then like that citrus foam just pulls together your mussel and your olives. Like I'm not always a big olive fan, but I freaking thought it was great. Next up, sorry, we're just moving through this because there's a lot.
21 courses to move through. Yeah.
And there's only so much you can, like your brain can even handle. It moves so fast.
Yeah.
And so that's why we have just very short notes. We took pictures, we took video. They do allow you to take video. They do not allow for long form video.
Or flash photography.
Yeah. All right, next up, edible sangria.
This is like Dippin' Dots on steroids.
It is.
It was so cold.
So cold. My tongue stuck to my spoon the first time I took a bite. And they even tell you, like, take very small bites initially. Well, apparently I tried to eat my spoon.
I don't know, but it just offered this reminiscent of sangria.
Yeah.
It was the best sangria in a Dippin' Dots format served in a half of a wine bottle.
Yeah, and they said that there's lots of liquid nitrogen, and that's why it has that cold feel. It's red wine cherries. The apples, there's like 3 apple cubes.
And they're so cold.
Super duper cold. Like even my final bite was an apple, and it was like, oh my gosh, it's so cold.
Yeah, it was cold.
I thought it was really good though. All right, the next course, it was foie gras, pear, and crispy potatoes.
Yeah, it's called Foie Royale.
This was mind-blowing moment number 2 for me.
Hands down.
I actually said it was like the best baby food ever.
Yeah, and it was so smooth and creamy, but then they offered these, and I'm talking like itty bitty crispy potatoes. I don't understand how it happens because it left this crunch that you needed in there and a sweet pear. I just can't even explain it. It was so impressive and so smooth and creamy, and like the guy next to me said it's been his favorite dish, and they had been there multiple times, and he said I really would have licked the bowl. Had it not been such a fancy place, I would have licked the bowl.
Well, plus the service is so on top of everything, they're taking it away the moment you're done.
Yeah.
But I just wrote, why is this so damn good? Like, it made no sense to me.
No.
But damn it was good.
It was very tasty.
All right, next one up, Dungeness crab. This is called, oh boy.
Yeah, good thing I read the first one.
It starts with a T-X-A-N. I don't know how to pronounce this, but I'm just going to say it was Dungeness crab. It ends up, you get this like, was it panko?
Yeah, panko in a separate spoon. You have the crab in one spot, the panko, and then they called it poison.
Yeah.
So you pour your poison over your crab and then top it with the Dungeness, or with the panko. Wow.
It was just a delicious, pure crab flavor.
Yeah, it was served warm, and it ate so sweet. Like the sweetest crab meat you'll ever taste. I loved it.
I loved it as well. All right, next up, fish course. This was platilla. This was a flute fish, and then there was like an Italian basil powder and almond cream lines. So you'll see on the plate where there's 2 different lines. And then there was like a dehydrated squid ink that's on the fish. So that's why you have half of the fish looking black, and then it's a squid ink sauce
underneath.
I thought it was delicious. For me, the squid ink almost overtook my fish though.
Yeah, and I didn't notice that, but I'll tell you what threw me off on this is the piece of fish did not, it looked so delicate that it shouldn't have had a crispy skin, but there was a crispy skin.
Yeah.
Sitting in the squid ink sauce throughout the entire thing. How you can do that, I have no idea, but it was mind-boggling, and I think I looked at Josh more than once like, that's a crispy skin, right? Like,
she's like, what's so crispy? And I was like, it's the skin.
Yeah.
And I did write also crispy skin beyond what you would expect. Like looking at it, you think it's gonna have like no texture, no crunch, and it needed it. Like the texture was great.
Yeah, and that's one of those delicate pieces though. You see it and you're like, how does this work? But it was delicious.
Right. At this point, Rachel did write in the note, the amount of white truffle used justifies the cost. Yeah.
Because there's a lot of white truffle used.
All the fancy, so it's funny because we made an overrated video a couple years ago now, maybe a year ago. Anyway, one of the big things that I had said was stop using gold caviar and truffles.
And there was gold caviar and truffles in all of our stuff.
But
tonight.
this was appropriate.
Yeah.
The problem is a lot of other restaurants you feel like are doing it just to jack up the cost.
Yeah.
Whereas these were pieces where it felt like it belonged.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
And it was amazing. I've never had that many white truffles.
Speaking of amazing, actually, okay. The next dish is going to be awesome. But I do want to say, I felt like the more that we interacted with the chef, the better.
I agree.
There was a clear lead chef who was out there preparing all the dishes, and there were others that kind of like filled in along the way.
Agreed.
But the more that we talked to him, the more questions we asked about the food. That's what makes this experience worth the cost.
Yeah, and
I haven't even said what the cost is.
Yeah.
But that's what makes it worth it.
He's from Vegas and he talks Vegas local stuff. He talks José Andrés. He talks food. Like there isn't a subject we ventured to chat with him about that he didn't have interaction with us for. It was amazing.
I don't remember whether he said he started as a busboy or
busboy.
Okay, as a busboy at like 19, 20 years old, and now he's doing this. Yeah. I loved it, and I think that that's what ties the personal connection. It makes you feel that it's definitely worth it. Otherwise, if you're just watching people prepare food with tweezers, I don't know that it would be worth it. No. But being able to ask questions of the chef while they're preparing it was amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, next up. This dish was nuts.
I would have to say it was my favorite.
Hard not to. This one is called fricando. Beef cheek, potato gnocchi, mushrooms, and white truffle.
And these potato gnocchi were like mashed potato pillows. I can't tell you. Like they have this amazing gnocchi look, but they burst into the most creamy mashed potato you've ever eaten.
Yeah, it ate like a mashed potato, shaped like a gnocchi.
Yeah, it was bananas. And then the beef cheek was so tender.
Stupid tender.
I can't even.
Yeah, we talk about how much we love short rib and pot roast and all that stuff. This was like beyond any tenderness that you get from any of those ever.
Yeah, pot roast to the extreme.
Yeah, it was nuts. And then the sauce, it's like, I just wrote sticky sauce, umami bomb. Like punch you in the mouth. I
even looked at Josh and said, I want this for my birthday meal every single year. Like, I love it. They did say the beef cheek is braised about 3 to 6 hours, and then
depending on the size and where it's at. Yeah.
And then they sear it as the guests arrive.
Right. And the juices is what becomes your sauce.
I'm like drooling over that remembrance.
So freaking good.
So good.
If you're enjoying this video and looking for more Las Vegas restaurant reviews, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We have almost 200 restaurant reviews in Las Vegas alone. All right, I think we're starting to enter maybe some sweet side. Yes.
Yeah.
Because the next up is called the empanada. And it looks like an empanada.
It sure does. But This,
I'm gonna let you take this one.
Yeah, this course was absolutely the base of my favorite appetizer of all time at Bazaar Meat. So this is cotton candy foie gras with corn nuts. And I will tell you, they make, I don't know how they do it, but the cotton candy they shape right there into a little empanada maker right in front of you. They fill it with the foie gras and the corn nuts, and it is the bomb.
It is the bomb.
It is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, he actually said that the cotton candy foie gras at Bazaar Meat is based on this dish. And it shows. Like,
Yeah.
I've enjoyed the one at Bazaar Meat. This one, there's so much more elements to it, because over there you just like, you put it in your mouth, you let it melt. This, you're taking multiple bites because there's that much more filling inside of it. And it was awesome.
Yes.
So good.
Ugh.
Okay. Whoop.
Oh, I do have to make a note of the beef cheek dish that had mushrooms on it. Josh ate all the mushrooms.
I did, actually. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm okay with the baby mushrooms.
I mean, they were tiny, but you ate all the mushrooms.
I ate all the truffles. I had no issue with truffles at all.
No.
But I never have, really.
I also noticed, because couple of the people next to me had dietary preferences, and they were able to accommodate that. So
that was
just
cool.
Keep that in note as well.
All right, so after that course, I did write to myself, I'm starting to get full.
And this was the empanada course?
After the empanada course. And then I also wrote, like, it was intense, but not intense, right? Like, it's just you, it's a couple chefs in front of you, it's, 6 other people.
It's very personal.
Yeah, like it's intense because there's so much going on and so much happening, but you don't feel stuffy.
No, not once did I feel like, oh, this is dragging on.
Right.
I almost was like, oh, it's over?
Yeah, I was like, holy crap, it's done when it was. Yeah, but also like, I was thinking to myself, like, I didn't even think about the outside world for at least an hour and 45 minutes of that experience.
At least.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
All right, next course is the cheese course. It's called Caña de Cabra. And so, as we're watching it get prepared, that's one of the cool things. Like, you don't know what they're preparing, but they're just making things.
Yeah.
And at one point, Rachel's like, I think that's cotton candy, the disc. And I was like, that's weird. Are we gonna really have cotton candy twice? Yes, we did.
Yeah.
And so with this, it was like hazelnut, butternut squash, black truffles, and goat cheese at the bottom. And then there's black truffle is on top, actually, of the cotton candy, along with some, I believe, coarse salt. And then you just mix in your cotton candy. And I know you wrote that it was reminiscent of blue cheese. For me, I just said it was sweet and savory in a bowl.
Yeah.
It was like kind of thick and creamy, but not thick. I don't know.
And I felt the flavor
crazy.
that offered this potency, and then it kicked it off with a sweet note to finish.
The next course was called Meunier Blanc, and it looked like cake. It looked like angel food cake. I
thought, there is no way I'm gonna like this.
And it ate like ice cream.
It was delicious. This was one of the mind-blowing moments in my life. Like, they are all mind-blowing, but this one I was like, what are we eating? It was insane. So it was almond milk, which they freeze with CO2, and then...
So almond milk that they infuse with CO2, and then they freeze it. I'm assuming with like nitrogen suspension. But yeah, it looks like cake, eats like ice cream. There's elderflower toffee at the bottom, and then these like raspberries. Yeah, raspberry like pebbles. It was crazy. Delicious.
I couldn't stop eating it. Like, I just couldn't stop. It was so damn good.
Next dish called Snowing in Vegas, which he related it to crema catalana, which has like a snowflake on top, and there's a yogurt and citrus. It ate so light and airy, it might as well have been a foam, but it wasn't a foam.
Nope.
I don't know. And he said that there was lemon, lime, orange zest in there.
You could really get the strong citrus notes. It almost was a palate cleanser.
I could see that.
At that point in time, which makes sense.
Seeing
where we're at,
7,000 courses in.
Yeah, it again was one of those pieces that you're just like, how?
Yeah.
There was like the snowflake left a crisp, almost like a creme brulee crisp to it, which It just worked.
Yeah, it was almost like white chocolate, but I don't think it was.
Yeah.
And it was super thin too. Okay, next up, Ferrero Rocher hazelnut. If you've had the Ferrero Rocher, like the gold wrapped
Candies.
hazelnut candy, it tastes like that.
Yep.
But it was just like one nut covered in gold in a cookie crumble.
And you just ate it.
Delicious.
Off of a mini shovel.
And then they wrote more things, which sounds about right for the next bit.
God.
Rachael did write down a bunch of stuff. Dehydrated mandarin orange, dulce de leche, raspberry, gin and tonic marshmallow, gummy was citrus sugar, and then a Spanish custard in a shell is how you finish it. The cool one was definitely the dehydrated mandarin orange.
Yeah.
Because he's like, you got to eat this as soon as possible. So you just stick it in and breathe in smoke.
You breathe smoke, yeah.
That was
Which is
really
why
cool.
they call it dragon's breath.
Yeah.
It was impressive to get that. But I will tell you the one that threw me off. There was the dulce de leche chocolate, the raspberry chocolate. Then there was this little rose. One looked like a rose. Yeah. I don't know what kind of chocolate it was. I ate that one next, and it was
I love that
phenomenal.
one. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I don't remember which one was which, but because they give you a plate of like 7 different things.
Yeah.
And it was great though. It was a fun, playful way to finish off dessert.
And the gin and tonic marshmallow. Like I don't like marshmallows, and I was like, oh, I don't know.
I thought that thing was weird. But overall, I thought it was amazing. That was our final course right there. It's expensive. It's expensive as hell. It's the second most expensive meal we've ever had. It's definitely one of those why you can't do things like this all the time.
No.
Or most people can't. We can't. I'm so glad I did it.
Me too.
It sounds weird because we've always said that Joel Robuchon was like our favorite meal of our lives. But I would do this again before I would do that.
I would too. I think this one is because it was a little bit more personal.
Yeah, there was more of an experience included. Whereas we've talked about before, if we were going to do Joel Robuchon, we would go to L'Atelier next door.
Yeah.
Because you can get similar food with, I guess, less concern about like
stuffiness.
Appearance, stuffiness. Yeah. We loved our time there, but this, it was fun. It was more fun, I think.
I agree, and they both have a place. I will never discredit Joel Robuchon.
I would never say anyone should not do either one.
I agree, and that to me is the exciting part, is that you can have so many options. Again, this felt more personal. There was one thing, and it just drove me a little bit crazy in the room, is you could still hear the noise from the restaurant there, which I thought took away a little bit. Now granted, it's hard because it's just a small glass door, and that restaurant does get busy, and the Cosmo's a busy casino, but I wish it was just a little bit more soundproof away from that, because you are in just such an intimate experience. You have to truly pay attention and listen to what they're saying, or you're going to miss what you're eating.
Yeah, because there's no microphones used. If you have hearing problems, good luck.
Yeah.
They do not. Now, they would repeat themselves if you say something.
Or ask.
But I can understand not wanting to be the person that is always asking. We probably talked the most to the chef.
I would say so.
A lot of people never spoke. And so hopefully they heard everything. Otherwise, you're just kind of going slightly blind.
Yeah.
So that's where I think it was beneficial that we were trying to take notes. We were trying to capture everything.
Yep.
And they were accommodating for it. I love that.
Yeah, but he never made you feel
stupid
for asking.
Yeah. Whereas there's some other places you could eat at where you maybe would feel that way.
I will say I would highly recommend this experience to anyone who wants something special. 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Now
that's your dinner and a show.
You do pay ahead. When you make your reservation, you do have to put your credit card down, and you are also looking at a 20% tip.
That's included.
Yeah, so you're almost $7.50 in before you even walk in the door. So we were just under $9.50 after tip, I believe. So it's a lot. It's a lot of money. I can totally understand if somebody thinks that that's crazy to never do that. We do travel for food, literally. So it's how we see the world. It's how we feel like we expand ourselves.
Yeah.
So hopefully you enjoy this. I think that's it. I mean, that's 32 minutes at this point of us just sitting on the couch talking about a meal we just ate. Hopefully you enjoy
fantastic.
it. If you're enjoying our videos, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe.
You can also follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and X. All our links are down below.
Kava.